And welcome everyone to part 3 of the Flame of Arnor series. Vengeance comes to Tol Acharn. After the deadly dwarven ambush, the few Dalian men that survived returned in haste to find their beloved home under siege from an alliance of men from Rune and the wars of Erebor. They quickly rushed back into the city to prepare for battle. As they were arming civilians with brooms and shovels, through the mist of the great mountain they saw an army of angry elves thirsting for vengeance for their fallen brothers. From behind the city of Dale marched the force of the Vine Regent of Dorwinion. From the request of the elves of the Woodland Realm, there was a prime opportunity for both of them to get revenge on Rune for all the raids on their lands by the Easterlings. They were even prepared to put aside their grievances with Dale to destroy the Golden Horde once and for all. Blood was about to be spilled, and by night's end, red will the Forest River run, from the cliffs of Erebor to the lakes of Azgroth, and so the Battle of Tol Acharn begins. And fall in, my fellow Scout Troopers, to the final episode of the Flame of Arnor series. I am Micka here from Scouts of Entertainment. Glad to have you here with me today. We'll go through the army comps, of course. It's actually a 4v3 in this last episode. And so we'll go through the Flame of Arnor's army, one of two Elven armies in fact, two Mirkwood armies. The first is commanded by Angles. He's obviously in front of the Flame. He's got 3 units here of Hurric Spearmen, armoured up. Looks like all the Mirkwood units are armoured up where available to do so. We have 1, 2, 3 units here of Hurlang Turn and Heavy Swords. We have 3 more units here of High Earth, that's sword and shield units. 3 units of Herping Archers, armoured of course. 2 units of Greenwood Watchers, Dagger Throwers, and decent in melee but light tier troops. We have Wardens of Malak, AP Archers, and 200 Axes. Elven King's Palace Guard and Elders of the Elven King as well. Behind it we have the Flame of Arnor's force. We have 3 units here of Hurric Spearmen, Elven King's Palace Guard, Hurlang Turn Heavy Swords, 2 units of them so far. 2 units here of Hur's Sword and Shields, and 1 more unit of Hurlang. We have Wardens of Malak over here, more High Earth. Wardens of Malak, Greenwood Watchers over here. We have Elders of the Elven King mixed in there, Elven King's Palace Guard, 2 units of there for Flame. And we have 3 units here of Herping Archers. Now, in the city of Dale, once we get through here, we'll probably just pause it, as the attackers are getting pretty close here to the defenders. We have Dale commanded by Lurk. He's got some Daily Royal Guard here, opening fire. We have Dorwinion commanded by Zorosso 1. Got some Evelyn Marksmen here, about 2 units of them. We have 2 units here of Evelyn Vineguard. Some Evelyn Infantry here, 2 units. Nandor Glade Riders here, and Evelyn Infantry. We have some Evelyn Hammerguard here. Moquindi Glade Masters, Nandor Glade Guard, Moquindi Pikes, 2 units of them. And that appears to be it there for Dorwinion. There's a Stalkers. Oh, is that Stalkers or Riders? I think it's Riders, yeah. Nandor Glade Riders. Over here is the rest of Dale's force. You know, civilians here, armored with shovels and pickaxes. We have some barding herd behind them. Some Dalian Paladins over there. Further in the city, we have some dismounted Earls of Dale. Some Bardian Marksmen here, armored up. More dismounted Earls. And the rest of the Dale force could be over here. Nope, that's not it there at all. There's got to be more to Dale's army than this. Let's just have a quick look throughout the city. It's just a bunch of units here. No, that appears to be it. Dale has a small army here. Or possibly I'm just blind. We have Bardian Marksmen up here as well. And yeah, that appears to be it there for him. So, we'll go to the first of the attacking forces here. We have Toblerone commanding one of 2 Erebor armies today. We have the Erebor Legionnaires here, Ironfoot Pikes, along with Ironfoot Spears. Looks to be roughly 1 unit of pikes that I can see here, and possibly 2 units of Ironfoot Spears. Maybe it's 2 spears, 2 pikes. We have Highborns of Erebor, Dragon's Slave of Ered Mithrin, and Obsidian Guard. So 3 of the best units that Erebor has to offer. Some Ironfoot Crossbows here, 2 units of them, and Blackhawk Engineers, Sons of Durin. Ironfoot Warriors, Axe Guard of Erebor, Ironfoot Axe Throwers, 2 units there, and Ironfoot Warriors, so a killer army there for Toblerone. Over here we have his cavalry, so Ironfoot Wargoats, 2 units of them it would seem. I can tell. Over here we have more cav. This cav belongs to Farkin, the second Erebor player. Ironfoot Wargoats, 2 units there. And Ironfoot Hammerguard. Is that 2 units of Hammerguard? It is. It would have cost Farkin a pretty penny here to bring 2 units of Hammerguard for sure. Over here we have some Ironfoot Spears. We've got Axe Guard Airball over here. 2 units of Axe Guard Airball. Ironfoot Warriors, 2 units or so. Airball Legionnaires, 2 units. So Farkin's army is much smaller than Tol Acharn. And he has no elite tier troops. The closest he has to elite tier is the Axe Guard Airball. But the only reason he's had an army that is pretty much nowhere near the quality of Tol Acharn is because he brought 2 units of Hammer Guard. We have Hardbones Airball and Ironfoot Spears here. So he's got a good army, but obviously not as good as Tol Acharn, in my opinion. He's got more cav. We'll see when that helps him. We have Ruin Hinkin by General Mumu. Got varied mercenaries here. Eastern Clansmen here, armored up all the way. Golden tier armor, that's how you tell. We have Loke Flag Rim, possibly 3 units of them, and Loke Gamprim. Usually custom to bring 3 units of each of those. We have 2 more units here, Loke Flag Rim. That's the 3 units of Loke Flag Rim. There's another unit of Gamprim. We have the Loke Narium. There's the other unit of Gamprim there. Loke Sarim, Eastern Crossbows, not armored. Belkop Tribesmen, not armored. There's the 2nd unit of Loke Narium. And varied mercenaries over here as well. Next we have Loke Inasrim. 2 units of them. That I can tell, no other unit there for Rune. And I think there's actually some cav here which we missed earlier. Sindar of the Girdle, Huntsman of Amon Lunk. Maybe 2 units of them. Some more Sindar of the Girdle and maybe 2 units there of Huntsman of Amon Lunk. Yeah, that's right. And that is it, guys. So let's get this battle started. Enjoy. So Airball's crossing the bridge here. We've got Ironfoot Pikes and Ironfoot Spears and Ironfoot Warriors here. So this is Farkin's force, the rest of his army here. Did we already cross the bridge? No. The Danroyal Guard here, and the Bahi Marksmen doing a number here on the Dwarves, but they're taking most of those arrows in their stride. Looks like we have the Dwarven and Runic Cavalry forming up to face off against the Elves as they approach. So basically the Elves have to get here before Dwynien and Dale are overrun. I think if the Dwynien general dies, then the attackers win. And I believe Tol Acharn needs to capture the nest up top and hold it. So that's his mission. Farkin and Rune, General Mumu's mission is to capture the city of Dale and hold it against the Elves. The cav is meant to keep the Elves distracted long enough for them to take the city before they can reinforce their allies and they're crushed. So we've got Zoroster here forming up. The archers are trying to provide support. We've got some... Okay, Seldon River Patrol here, throwing their jabbies into the Dwarven force. Might not seem like much, but they're doing damage. It's a satisfying crunch, isn't it? Cav is charging in. Oh, here we go. Huntsman Unlocked charged in first. Okay, the first unit of War Goats here has the Sindar pegged. The rest of them are moving in. Loke Inasrim coming in from the flank. Hammer Guard here will rule the day here in melee. They need to get in there. The War Goats and the Loke Inasrim have suffered heavy casualties, but they've managed to hold the Elves in place. This is where the Hammer Guard needs to exploit this. Don't make the sacrifice for nothing. War Goats here broke through the line. 1 unit did at least. The Elves, they're taking casualties, but they are hanging on. The Hammer Guard, though, is the greatest threat to them. They're sandwiching the War Goats. Come on, we've got a bunch of cav, you're not doing anything. Farkin, come on, you gotta move it. Time is of the essence here. Huntsman here wheeling around here looking for an angle. Ankles here sending the Sindar in the direction of the Huntsman of Amon Lunk. If he's trying to do a flanking charge here, he's got to try and keep the enemy distracted and keep his units separated. And not come at them from all the same angle, you know? Yeah, we got Arm for Wargaze and Hammer Guard over there. They've got to turn around and take out these units. Everything. I don't know. Both sides are trying to catch the other in a sandwich. Nice charge from the Hammer Guard, just mowing down the Elven Cav. You just see that? They just folded like they were nothing. That's why I have great respect for the Hammer Guard. Perfect on the charge, perfect in melee. I think they are the best Cav unit in the game. You know, even better than Witch Realm Inquisitors. Ironfoot Hammer Guard here, I think, are the top tier Cav in Reforged, followed by the Witch Realm Inquisitors. They're the best all-rounder Cav unit, and highly recommend you bring in them if you can. On a siege, it's tough. You can use Cav effectively in a siege. We have seen it done before, but it is tricky. You gotta make sure you have space to do it. You also gotta make sure your enemy doesn't have the units to repel that you want to, where you want to attack. There also is marksman here. Got a nice angle on the dwarves. Crossbows here. They are firing into the Morquindi pikes. We're taking out 20 of them. Now it sucks that Tol Acharn had to take the hill instead of coming into the city. I think that could have been a bit easier for the attackers had he been allowed to do that. But these were the rules, I believe.
We're under attack.
And how they're looking on the other side. So look. The walls here already broken through. We've got the down roll guard here pelting the walls from their flank. Several marksmen also providing supporting fire. We've got Herrickspearman here moving down. We've got Herrickspearman here leading the way. So they're trying to chase off the dwarves. The dwarves can easily run around them, you know. Bit of a gamble, sending the Herrick so far out ahead of the army. Again, dwarves can easily run around them and get to the more vulnerable units. Ankles is leaving a couple of spearmen at back to protect the rest of the army. Although this entire flank here, this entire row, that is highly vulnerable to a cav charge. It is the force I definitely want to strike with my cav if I was the dwarven players outside the city right now. Well, this is an opportunity what the Erebor can take or let go, but that is the place to strike right now. We've got Iron for Wargaze here on a suicide charge. Yeah, that was never going to go well. Hang on, what's going on here? We've got 3 units of lucky enough for him just standing around not doing anything. Yeah, that's 2 units there. 3 in one, 1 in the other, and they're all dead now. Okay. Very weird. Royal Guards coming down, they got to get into the fight. They're also here trying to regroup and try and hold back the enemy. The elves have got to get here. We can't hold out forever. We've got Axial Arrow here, outflanking the Evelyn infantry. They're going to die soon. Nandor Grey Eyes here got off a nice charge here. Drag Mercenaries are vulnerable and in the open. Erebor has found itself surrounded here. We've got 1 unit broken. Could cause a chain round. I'm guessing that's what Dwayne and Dale are really hoping for here. Two more units here broken. Maybe a hammer guard coming in. That fire looks like it's come from crossbows. Ooh, hammer guard here, gonna give a knife charge. No, not a good charge, but remember what I said, they're really good at melee, so they'll still take plenty of casualties. And by taking casualties, I mean they'll kill a lot of the marksmen. The Glade Riders here have been outclassed. They got to get away. They've already broken at 24. The Flame of Arnor has arrived. The elves are inside the city. Now they just need to get to their ally. All the airborne forces here have been defeated. The Winian's general still lives. These crossbows here still have ammo. Belkov Tribesmen, they're firing their javelins. You know, again, they got the armor upgrade. And we have her experiment right here on the front lines. But instead, Ankles is sending forth his Heroes, sword and shields. And her laying 2 heavy swords here to face off against enemy cavalry. Those were definitely the wrong units to send against Cav. Tol Acharn should absolutely punish him for that and obliterate these units. He has the ability and the powerful units to do so.
Our ally lies dead, slain by
Alright,
the enemy.
there goes Dale.
Let's help his men avenge him.
But you know, things are always going to be very hard for Dale. He had the smallest army here by far. I for Warghosts here need a cycle charge. We've got plenty of cabs just waiting for it to charge, they're just not doing it. And Tol Acharn's just lying in wait, he's ready. He's just got to hope his allies, you know, take down as many as they can. And that they wipe out the Dwinian general. I mean, if they do that, they win the game straight away. And that was a great charge here. The elves just didn't. Oh, his attention was elsewhere. To be fair, that's the only way that could have happened. We got Camille's Chosen here. I didn't see these guys before. I'm glad Jen bought them. Belkov Tribesmen out of ammunition. Once again, they have the dwarves surrounded. This time they might be able to crush them. Dwayne is just taking the high ground here with a few reserve units just in case. Got the Hammer Guard here standing by. That's his best unit. That's one with his general in it. I mean, the Vanguard here has got to press the attack. The crossbows are right there. Hopefully the crossbows are shooting them in the back. I mean, they have them dead to rights after all. Where are they going to shoot? Shooting them in the back. Couldn't have asked for a better shot. We've got Camille's Shadowbows here as well. They need to move forward as well. They could be shooting at this whole blob here. Yes, they would take out some of these troops, but this unit's almost dead anyway. It's not losing too much from it. The bolts, the arrows will go through all this nice blob of enemy forces here. They would weaken them drastically, making Jen's life a whole lot easier and give him a better chance of victory. Okay, slowly but surely, the dwarves here are wiping out the elves. Took out like 20 of them at least.
Good tidings. The enemy general lies dead.
Alright, they just took out Mumu's general. Try saying that 3 times fast. Spearman here, yeah, moving back as a rear guard. They are weak.
The enemy are badly bloodied. They have lost half their men.
We've been moving around so much. We're just sort of finding a nice place to stay still just for a little bit. And it looks like the enemy cav is still harassing the elven left flank. Seems like they're holding them out just for now. Rune's hanging on. But Dwayne needs to commit what he has. I mean, if he can now work with Mirkwood here to take this city. They can still win here. But he's got to go on the offensive. He's got to come down from the hill. With Dwayne's full might, the defenders here can retake the city and force Rune out. And what's left of Erebor. Both of them don't seem to have the units here to repel the defenders if they attack as one unit. They're just going to stop playing games now with the attackers. They've got to move in for the kill. And they also get those crossbows. That is their top priority. That's the greatest threat to their forces right now. Come on, Zerosok. It's time to start moving. Alright, he's coming down. Jen's got to get these crossbows firing. Target the slowest units, target the McQuindy pikes. He's got to get the position where he is. He's got to stop moving. He's got to turn around. He's got to start firing. You see now the McQuindy pikes could be too close for him to shoot. They could lob their bolts into the enemy. Even with the Rag mercenaries in the way, should still be able to hit them. But the elves have fought off the last of the Dwarven Cav. Hey, when you know it, Ankle's units here managed to survive. They took heavy casualties. They were lucky to still be alive. I think the dwarves should have been able to wipe them out. About a third of the way through this so far, and it is 48 to 61. Yeah, but Tol Acharn here still has an elite force up his sleeve, and he has the high ground, and there are choke points, which makes it harder for the elves to use all their archers. So, you know, if Tol Acharn plays this right, he should be able to take this battle easy peasy. But he has to use the terrain to his advantage. You see some players turn around and try and get the unit out of there a little bit too soon. There was time for one more volley there. And sometimes that is needed. And turning away like that could mean the end of you, even if you're trying to save your unit. A crossbow volley, dead when it's dead in front of the enemy, is absolutely devastating. But the crossbows here could still take out this force of Zora, so they are exposed. We'll see who they fire at. Alright, they're firing into the crossbow, into the pikes. Yeah, Zorosov looks like he's gone the wrong way there for a second. Yeah, his plan is to push his way through, kill the enemy as he goes, and then run and try to cover the distance and get into the crossbows. Oh, there's a hammer guard. They do not target the hammer guard. Kidney Pokes trying to get into their ranks. And they're gone. At 102. They abandoned Gen Wumu. Bloody unlucky. And Dwinian and what's left of Dale hangs on. The wars here are just about finished. I think this is Farkin's general here.
Enemy general lies dead.
There goes his gen.
Behold how our cowardly foe.
Alright guys, we're just back briefly to show you that the skirmish phase here has begun. Angel's here trying to soften up the dwarves before he goes in. He's also trying to get as close as he can. The enemy of course is firing crossbows, and crossbows have the advantage in power, and they are more accurate. And where they're standing right now, it's going to be a bit hard for the crossbows to hit them.
Pursue and run them down.
That's why they've been hitting the unit behind them, it would seem. Gotta fix up where those units are firing. Both sides here, waste a bit of their ammunition. And Tol Acharn should not be using his crossbows at the moment. Just to spread out one unit here, keep the other in reserve for now, you know. This is not the easiest angle here for the elves. Alright, the elves here have engaged a unit of Ironfoot warriors. Ironfoot spears are not moving down to support them.
The battle is very much in our favor. Victory will be
Dwinian
ours.
is leading an attack to the other side here with the remnants of his army. He does not have too many units left. He's taken a bit of a beating. Hammergut here is his unit that is relatively untouched. Along with the McQuinty Glade Masters, they're looking pretty healthy at 39. And we've got the Flame of Arnold here sending over some units in support. Probably most of his army, if not all of it. It could be Ankle's job here. Oh no, Flamer does have a couple units over here, but most of these units appear to be Ankle's, including over here as well. So Flame has a few units here to help Ankle's out, but it seems like Ankle's is in charge of the attack on this side here. Now, why Toblerone is sending one unit here of Unfoot Warriors on their own to fight off so many elves is a little bit confusing. The Icefoot Spears should be moving down to support them. Dwarven forces here being engulfed. There were 102 before, now they're only at 27. Okay, they've wiped them out. There is not a single one left.
We're being attacked.
Well, they haven't lost too many troops. But if Ankles has Elders the Elven King here, he should be bringing them up. Well, if he's got Hunts, there's a Warden's Amonlunk. Yeah, Warden's Amonlunk. They should be brought up here to fire into the front line here of the Dwarven Warriors, try and soften them up, because they are right in front of them. They can fire at them at point blank. Up around here, they'll struggle to use their archers because, well, there's so many hills in front of them. And if the dwarves get in their faces, it's going to be really hard for the elves to use their archers. Like, the dwarves here need the elves to come around the corner there, and they need to keep the fight probably about here. If they have their axe throwers maybe here, they could lob their axes into any enemy archers that they try to place here as well. So, you know, this is probably the spot for the Dwarven Warriors to hold. They can fire from place of cover, and their elite units can hold the enemy back from a relatively safe position. We've got players here meaning defeat. That must be Jen, Moonwoo, and Farkin. Let's have a look on the other side here. What the surprises does Toblerone have? He's got these Blackhawk Engineers, Ironfoot Pikes, 2 units there, the Airborne Legionnaires, Ironfoot Axe Throwers, 2 units here standing by. So, Axe Throwers here, they're in a nice position. If the attackers come up this hill, which they'll have to do, and they engage, well, potentially Toblerone needs to fall back and set up his defense here. If they set their defense here, the Axe Throwers on the ledge can move up and throw their axes into the backs of the enemy from behind, basically killing the attack before it even starts on this side. So, already Dorwinian and Mirkwood on this side are up against it. They need Ankles and what belongs to the Flame of Arnold on the other side here. They need that attack to go very well. They need to try and pull some of the units here away from this side. They need to pull at least one unit of the Outfit Axe Throwers, and they can't really afford to send too many units up front and in a group. They'll make things way too easy for the Blackhawk Engineers just to shred them apart. So, you know, there's just so many variables for the attackers to take into account. It's hard to see them getting through that. They need to find some way to get the enemy to waste their Blackhawk Engineer ammunition. Sorry, struggled with my words there. And the other thing they've got to worry about is the Ironfoot Axe Throwers. But it's hard to see how they solve both problems. Alright, the attack has begun. The elves have charged into the Ironfoot Spears. It's a solid line there from the dwarves. The elves throwing themselves against it. Don't appear to be making much of a dent. And now we've got Axial Airborne reinforcements coming in. This is where we need to see the Elders of the Elven King and the Warrens of Amonlunk firing. Anything they can do to weaken these units. Axe-Guard Area War hates missiles, but loves to be in melee combat. And if they are free to engage without any missile interference, then they tend to perform as intended, by slicing and dicing the enemy, racking up a lot of kills, and just obliterating some of the other enemy's best melee troops at the same time. So, you know, but they are still elevated. Yoko's not committing the elders of the young king. He just isn't. We got crossbows here, trying to provide some cover fire, hurt the Herping archers. And you know, to a degree they are succeeding. I mean, they're getting plenty of kills, but Ankles has blood to spare. We're seeing a lot of blood splatter, but Tol Acharn should be pretty good where he is. I mean, that's a nice position to stop. The hill here provides some protection here. It's catching a lot of those arrows intended for him. I half wonder if he could put the Ironfoot crossbows up here on the hill. The Herping archers would still struggle to hit them, but at least the crossbows could fire into the Elven melee troops, allowing their on defense to stand longer and rack up more kills by weakening their reserves. The elves here pushing through the flank. Other warriors coming in to intercept. Angle's here tried to go for an outflanking maneuver, but has been outflanked himself. There are moves and there are counter moves. That's a quote from a movie I can't remember. But now it's a quote. Crossbows taking casualties down to 47. Flame Arnold copying the same tactic as the other side, setting up their archers first, possibly try to fire in, rack up some damage, then send in the rest of the force. Alpha Pikes here taking the hit. Need to get some shields in front of those pikes. I know it's called pike stacking, but they need some shields in front of them.
If we continue like this, we will smash the enemy.
That's what any responsible general does. He tries to protect his units, keep them alive and in the fight for as long as possible, if not to the end, because that usually guarantees victory. Yeah, crossbows firing still. We have troops blobbed up, but we could be out of range. If you can only fire into the Makundi Glademasters, those bolts will travel through all the Dwinian units, and then I think Dwin will be finished. Lurk here has 6 units still alive in this battle. Again, where are the elders? Crossbows here battling away against the hurling heavy swords. Those crossbows there should lose that fight. We got warriors and what's left of a crossbow unit here also in the battle. So crossbows could be pretty much done for Toblerone. For warriors fighting to the end. That's very brave of them. Ah man, if only Airborne could counterattack right now. If he had the Blacklog Engineers here, potentially they could fire and take out this unit of hurling 200 heavy swords, but this mound here could be a problem for him. And you'd have to get pretty close to them to fire effectively through them. Because they are lined up in a row. Very nice. Okay, playing archers again, causing mischief. They're just trying to soft up the competition. The Blacklog Engineers look like they've used up all their ammunition and they don't have a lot of kills to show for it. Indicating that they did not fire directly through a unit. There would be more dead bodies if they were doing that. And those look like lob shots. Gotta give it to the elves. When they book, and they're really hard to catch. But when he can come into the rescue with what he has left. Leaping archers are being chased down. So we've got Dragon Slayers, Arid Mithrin, we've got Sons of Durin here forming up. And we've got the Highborns, Airborne, and Obsidian Guards standing by. So, Toblerone here has his best troops ready to engage the elves. Again, he's got to force a battle on his terms. Now, this is actually not a bad place to fight the elves, and obviously why I'll tell you why is because I think there's so many hills here, there's so many mounds. It makes firing on any force here in this narrow passageway very difficult. Even if you're the defenders here firing downhill, they need to be somewhere along here in order to shoot effectively into the enemy force. You can just see all the elven units here shooting upwards, trying to hit their target. The only one, obviously, who can do that effectively is the Elders, the Elven King. So the Dwarves here probably should force the battle there. They should engage them. We've got a unit armed for Axeros here that don't have a target. Toblerone's running down here to face and fight the enemy. The Armed Axeros are in the battle. Hopefully they've used up all their axes. If he wasn't allowed to use them, then that really sucks for him. I don't think there was that rule. I don't think he's used up all those axes, but if he has, he has. Enable these names here, they're moving back. These Axeros need to get out of the way. Okay, axes are being thrown, and they are hitting the Hammer Guard here, along with the Elves, but the Hammer Guard is the important unit here. Look at the rule of the general dying. The Darwinian general dying is invalid now. Because, you know, he's on the front lines, he could easily get killed. You see how they stopped firing there? If they were in guard mode, they'd still be firing. The Dwarves here got to throw what they got at them. Yes, they have a powerful force, but they've got to use it. They can't really afford to let Darwinian and Mirkwood wear them down through attrition. They've got to force the melee fight. They can win the melee fight. Oh, that's Elders of the Elven King there firing in. Oh no, it's Greenwood Watchers that are firing. Those are the daggers. Their ammo is a little bit similar. 75 to 93, heavily in favour of the defenders. And this is all the Erebor has left to muster on this side here. This has got to hope it's enough. His general's also, I think, over here. Yeah, it is.
The battle is very much in our favour. Victory will be ours.
Wardens here have gotten behind the enemy.
Our ally lies dead. Without their general, they may lose heart and flee.
I think Angles has lost his general.
The enemy are badly bloodied. They have lost half their men.
A lot of their own troops are in the way. They can't fire. Huntsman unlucky, obviously still has some ammo. And you know, I did say the accuracy was pretty good. Not the best, but still pretty darn good. The unit's only making my point. We're almost out of it. The Elves, Darwinian and Dow, they're going to take this one. So we had Flame, we had Ankles. We had Tol Acharn.
Victory is ours. Let it be a salve upon our wounds.
Yeah, so they just wore Erebor down, and that was it. So, well done to Flame, Ankles, Lurk, and Zoros on their victory. 1062 and 795 there for the Mirkwood armies. 1678. So, despite Dale Hay having the smallest force, he did very well for himself there, getting so many kills. Darwinian here, 1008. Captain Bayan, General Mumu here, 1099. Farkin and Tol Acharn, 1252 and 1445. Okay, kill counts here. No real standout performances except for the Herping Archers of 154, a couple of 90s there, one to the Heroth, and for the yellow Mirkwood player, 100 here for the Herrick Spearmen, and Herrick Lang Swords here, 167. And those were the best performances by far. No other unit really came close. Alrighty, thank you to Flame for sending me the replay. If you want to see your own replay featured here on the channel, guys, you can send it to my email at scoutsofentertainment@gmail.com. You can post it to me directly on Discord. You can join my Discord server, Scouts Reconnaissance, and post your total replay there. Or you can tag me in the replay you post on Thursday's Reforged Discord as well. This is Micka from Scouts of Entertainment signing off. Goodbye, my fellow Scout Troopers, and catch you in the next Total War battle.